janam sada vadami narayana nama nirmalam smarami narayana tattvam. How an illumined one sees this world of diversity, of variety, even among people, human beings, there are so many kinds. Then there are other creatures. Therefore, the verse which we already saw earlier, 18th of this 5th chapter, talked about Panditaha Samadarshinaha. The illumined ones see all equally. Why? They behold Brahma. They do not come down from the vision of Brahma. And Brahma alone is a pious person, very sattvic. Brahma alone is a cow, is an elephant, is a dog, and Brahma alone appears as a dog eater. If one sees Brahma and everything is secondary, everything has relevance only in certain specific contexts, not otherwise, then one will not be distracted, one will not fall a prey to ideas of high and low. Panditaha Samadarshina. And we saw 19th shloka in the last class, where it was said, Tasmad Brahmani te stitaha. Once you and I learn to stay in Brahman, as Brahman, all our problems are dissolved, because Brahman in which we stand is Nirdosham. Nirdosham hi samam Brahma, tasmat Brahmani te stitaha. And this Atmanishtha, this Brahmanishtha makes it possible for us to overcome this business of this matter of birth and death. Ihaiva jita sargaha yesham samye sthitam manaha nirdosham hi samam brahma tasmat brahmani te stitaha. Moving on to the 20th verse in this class, which I guess is the 119th class in this series of Bhagavad Geeta classes. Shankaracharya connects us to the next shloka saying, Yasmat nirdosham Brahma, Yasmat nirdosham samam Brahma, Atma tasmat. We as sadhaks, we as spiritual aspirants, as we appreciate that the truth of this whole universe is Brahma only, which is absolutely free of any blemish, any flaw, and which is the same in all, we will find in ourselves an unbelievable amount of equanimity, an unbelievable amount of strength to meet with this so-called victory and defeat, this so-called Priya and Apriya. And that is described in next two verses, in fact. Yasmat Brahma Nirdosham, Tasmat Brahmani Stitaha Siddhova Sadhakova Yena Prakarena Tishtet. How will she or he be? The 20 and 21. In fact, going by Sanskrit grammar, can be taken as a description of the Siddha and instruction to the sadhaka. Na prahrishyet priyam prapya, nodvijet prapya cha priyam, sthira buddhirasam mudaha, brahmavid brahmani sthitaha, bahyasparsheshvasaktatma, indati atmani yat sukham, sabrahma yoga yuktatma, sukhamakshayamashnuте. If you take it, this praharshyet as potential, it is potential mode. If you take it as a description, in English we would use the word would. An illumined man would not get excited about some praise, about some honor, some felicitation, some title comes towards him, some award, some recognition in the TV and the newspapers. His name, his picture has come. Na praharishyet. He may receive compliments, congratulations, and for courtesy's sake, he may say thank you very much, and so on. But because he is anchored in Brahma, he would not get unduly excited. He would not talk to himself. Finally, the people know who I am. No, he long back died to the praise or insult of the world. That little self in him, which was going around with a begging bow for praise from people, appreciation, acceptance from people, the little self is gone. He now is the pure self. Na praharshyet. But if you take it as that potential mood expression, bhavet, bhavetam, bhaveyuhu, praharshyet, praharshyetam, praharshyeyuhu, that's how the verbal forms are learned by us. If you take it as an injunction, as a vidhi, as a direction, then it's meant for the sadhaka. A sadhaka, you and me who have been studying or teaching or involving in Vedanta discussions, we should not get swayed by petty talk, some talk which makes us prejudiced, biased, some talk which makes us feel, look here, we have been put to injustice, and look there, how those people are getting undue advantage. Let us rebel against this. Let us protest against this in an egoistic manner. Not that an illumined man, or a sadhaka who is advanced necessarily has to keep quiet about the injustice around, but there is a totally different quality of a protest that an advanced sadhaka may associate with. It is for the good of all. It is for justice sake. It's not with some prejudice against a particular community or prejudice for another community, or even in a family feud. An enlightened man or an advanced sadhaka may get involved as an arbiter, as an arbitrator, or as a guide to both the people fighting. Two cousins are fighting, and you get into the matter and you advise both of them. So you may get into settling disputes. Vedanta does not say don't get into these matters at all. If said anywhere, that is contextual. Udasinaha tishtet. It has to be understood, really speaking, not so much outwardly, but inwardly, even as you are required. You are an elderly uncle for both of them, or you are a cousin who is much elderly. Being elderly, you have been requested to sort out these things. You do not take sides. You see what is involved, and with an unbiased mind, you help them. Na prahrishye. If somebody praises you, oh, what a wonderful cousin we have here, what a great uncle we have here, thank you. And somebody accuses us, you messed up everything. Before you got into this scene, everything was all right. You actually messed it further. You just go back and study Vedanta, don't get into these matters of the world. And there will be people who will object to anything you do. Never mind, some praise, some insult. As a sadhaka, see the truth of the matter. If there is some truth in what somebody has said, work upon it, but don't take it personally. Na prahrashyet priyam prapya, apriyam prapya na udvijet. Praharsha and udvega. Praharsha is getting personally elated, patting oneself on the back. Ah, how wonderful I am. And udvega is fretting and fuming on how one's own image got tarnished in a certain matter. Sthira buddhi, a little deeper inside, this advanced sadhaka remains sthira, very firm, very stable. Therefore, they say, as our study and meditation advance, there will be less and less difference between how we are during meditation and how we are when dealing with things of the world. Ramana Maharshi used to say, if you meditate an hour in the morning, an hour in the evening, a certain current is set up. He was not a great Shastri of the orthodox kind. He was an illumined person who knew the Shastras quite well, but his language was his own, not necessarily very Shastraic. He apparently said, your meditation, referring to sadhakas, sets up a current, and that current keeps flowing all through the day. Whereas for utter beginners, number one, even during meditation, they have no peace. Number two, here and there, during the so-called meditation of whatever kind, if they experience certain peace, that peace very soon goes to pieces when they have to meet with money and men and matters. Sthira buddhi. So we not only say sadhaka, but advanced sadhaka remains sthira, firm. Asammudaha. He or she should not and would not get back into the good old delusions, wanting more land, wanting more bank balance, wanting some title after the name or before the name. Somebody is a PhD, doctor, some X or Y. And if your mind says, now it's too late for me. How I wish I too had done a PhD. Or if I had done MBBS, I also could have had that part. Doctor so and so, my name. If it pricks you, if it makes you feel a bit low, that is moha. Vedanta uncompromisingly says to seek a position, a title, a degree, something before your name, something after your name. You don't have a doctorate, so you just put Shri. Shri so and so. At least after the name, how nice it would have been if I could put Vice President of a huge multinational company and some big division and so on. Ah, how nice. That is Priyam Prapya Praharshyet. Apriyam Prapya Udvijet. All that is Moha, Asammudaha, Brahmavid Brahmani Sthita. Knowing Brahma, one stays in Brahma, one knows oneself is Brahma. Likewise, Bahya Sparsheshu, numerous Vishayas, sense objects, give to us such delight, pleasure. But as we grow spiritually, while we may enjoy a jalebi here, a rasagulla there, in a while we may enjoy. When it comes to us, we enjoy. But there is no hankering after them. Asakta Atma. Here Atma means Antakarana. One's mind is not attached to. How you go to a place, you are invited as a guest, and you have fixed imagination. But somehow, either because they forgot or they somehow said not necessary, the wonderful meal, otherwise wonderful, did not have any desserts, any sweet. You're waiting, you're looking around. Okay, everything came, but where is the sweet of the day? No sweet. Then, Bahya Sparsha. Your tongue was waiting for a sweet to land upon it. You are attached. You lose interest in everything else. You're thinking only about when is the sweet coming. All right. Whereas the mind of an advanced sadhaka, well, may recognize in a passing manner, looks like there is no sweet today, so much the better. Sweets are not good for my health anyhow, and no problem. Next moment, you are able to attend to other things. Otherwise, the mind attached to something forgets everything else. So, Bahya Sparsheshu Asaktatma, and more we are out of wisdom withdrawn from this hankering after sense pleasure, praise, and so on. Atmani Sukham Vindati. So, in all this, Praharshyet, it was said, Udvijet. Maybe I did not complete that idea in a proper way. If it is a Siddha, it's a description. He would not bother. If it's a Sadhaka, it's an advice. He should not bother. Do not bother. Please do not take it to heart. I was present a year ago in Chennai, and I myself was part of the host. A couple of us played host, and some 3 people came as guests. And that day, neither deliberately nor because of forgetfulness, but some logistics issue came up and there was no sweet. So we did not offer a sweet to the guests. But the guests, especially the main person, he was very understanding. A while ago, as we were having lunch, he had mentioned about his granddaughter, 8-year-old girl who is very smart, who is very observant, who makes comments on everything. And then at the end of lunch, he realized no sweet was offered in an Indian lunch for guests who have come up. They don't come every day. There is generally a sweet. He looked and I could see that he especially noticed. I kept quiet. No sweets were, we didn't offer any sweets. The food otherwise was good. There were many items. And when we washed our hands, while coming out, he just looked at me and said, If Anika were here, that is his granddaughter, if Anika was here, she would have said, Grandpa, why no sweet today? He just made a comment and laughed away. He didn't bother. Quite a balanced person. Not a complaint, but he did not keep quiet either. My granddaughter would have made a comment. Why no sweets today, Grandpa? And so on. So I really like that way of you know, letting us know that there was a slight lapse, which they don't mind, but lapse is a lapse. So I had an opportunity again in Chennai at the same place after a few months to play host. That is, a couple of people at the Krishnamurti Center and myself were the hosts, and a young lady came as the guest. So I had learned the lesson. Last time there was a lapse. So the previous evening itself, I told a certain person, get such sweets. Anyway, these small or big things, somewhere we expect to be praised, but we are not. Our name is not mentioned. Some other place we are insulted, whatever. When we are no more attached, no more fear, neglect, then we have an immense ability to take things in our stride with a smile. Asaktatma, Atmani Sukham. Then how come you are so happy even though no sweet was offered? Nowadays, my happiness does not depend on sweets or praise or attention. These words will come out of you naturally, spontaneously. You don't have to memorize how am I supposed to respond to this question. You memorize and say that's very artificial. Atmani yat sukham vindati saha brahma yoga yuktatma. A new word, we know karma yoga, dhyana yoga, raja yoga, bhakti yoga, so many. But Sri Krishna introduces yet another yoga, Brahma yoga. Brahma yoga is no other than knowing Brahma. Yoga means connecting, uniting. We connect ourselves with Brahma. Alas, generally you and I are way down from Brahma, which is actually our true nature. Like the lion cub, which thought of itself as a sheep. I am a sheep. All these are sheep. I too am a sheep. And then one morning, the story, the lion cub who thought of itself as sheep is helped to realize it is actually a lion cub everywhere. There's also that other story. A prince in some crowded area where the king and queen had taken him somehow gets lost. He was only 4-year-old or so. He gets lost and then he continues to live. He grows up amidst beggars. But a few years later, the prime minister conducts a thorough search. And, in those days, there were certain ways. The marks on the hand, the marks, I don't know, to other parts of the body. They had their own. In India, so many sciences had been developed. Today, you have the forensic labs, thumbprint, etc., can be analyzed by machines and so on. Those days, they had their own ways. Maybe it is called Hasta Samudrika. Hasta, hand, Samudrika, Mudra is various gestures as well as, I guess, the marks on one's hand. So the Prime Minister successfully finds that boy, and that boy takes some time to accept that he actually is the prince of the kingdom. He refuses first, but then he accepts, and after some time he completely starts playing the role of the prince of that whole country. You and I, as sadhakas, are in that process. Vedanta may say repeatedly, loudly, "You are Brahma." And we say, "Thank you. It feels good to say that, good to hear that. Thank you very much. Here is my dakshina." We give some dakshina to the Guru and walk away, saying, "The Guruji doesn't know all my troubles. I am worried about this. And so on." Right? Yesterday, a little story came about Mother Sharada, the holy consort of Sri Ramakrishna. A certain boy apparently came a few times to her in, I guess, Dakshineshwar. And on one hand, he seemed very interested in spirituality. But on the other, there was some disturbance also on his face. And then it is said, name is not given, but it was a touching episode. The boy one day said to Mother Sharada, "Ma," he must have said in Bengali, I guess, "I am not coming anymore for several reasons, but above all, Ma," he started crying. I think I am not fit for all this spirituality. I am a wretched boy. I am a wretched soul with so much of impurities in me. I just want to tell you I am not coming again." And he just, because young boy, he just walked out very fast. And in an unusual response, Ma Sharada got up and ran behind that boy and successfully caught him by the collar, I guess at the exit door of that campus. Caught hold of him and very lovingly said to him, "Don't say you have impurities, you have this problem or that problem. Whenever next time a thought like this comes to you, remember my words. I am with you," something like that. "I am with you. I love you. You are always with me. You are with me, the mother." Something like that. Exact words I have to say again. And he looked eye to eye. He looked eye to eye into Holy Mother Sharada, and gathering a little courage, he once more did pranam and went away. And it is said that later on they found out where that boy went. He went here, he went there, and later on he became a monk. He not only became a sannyasi, he was wonderful. He lived an exemplary life. So, see how Mother Sharada helped that boy. So, coming back to us, we sadhaks also feel, "Oh, this Brahma, God bless that Brahma, I am nowhere near Brahma." All such thoughts come to us. But Brahma Yoga Yuktatma, have patience, stay on the path, inquire, do bhakti if you are tired of jnana. And as you gather some energy, do jnana, that is, studying and reflecting and inquiring. The techniques and the ways are very simple. As Sri Ramana Maharshi would say, when you are hijacked by a thought, moment you recognize, "Hey, this thought has taken me to a different world." As you recognize, as you notice, stay, hold on, and in Ramana's way, ask yourself, this thought is saying I am a useless fellow. This thought is saying, whether that is true or not, we'll see later. First, let me ask myself, Who has this thought? The mind will say, who else? You have this thought. All right. I have this thought. Who am I? I'm no more interested in content of the thought, which says I am useless. Another day it may say I am the emperor of emperors. What it says is a different matter. But who am I who has this thought? Who am I? Who am I? Simple. It doesn't require a PhD. It doesn't require that you are a product of some prestigious university of Harvard or Oxford, prestigious university of Baroda or Mysore. No. You could be just sixth standard pass. In olden days, it was very common. You meet somebody, how far have you studied? I have passed the sixth standard. Afterwards, one person in Shimoga in Karnataka once said to me, I went only up to sixth standard. Then what happened? It's not right usage of the word, but he said like this. My Vidya means studies, learning, became Naivedya. Vidya became Naivedya. Naivedya is what you offer to God. You know, you offer. So Vidya became Naivedya and I stopped, he said. Doesn't matter. In spirituality, you don't need to do degree and postgraduate degree, etc. Hey, oh, youngsters have all kinds of impressive degrees and they are not less miserable than people, youngsters of 40 years ago, 30 years ago. So, the technique, the method, if you call it a method, is pretty simple. When you yuktatma, you unite yourself with Brahma, sukham akshaya ashnute. It is such happiness which doesn't decay, which does not diminish. Isn't that what we want really? Shankara says, na prahrishya. Shankara takes this more as an instruction to a seeker. Praharsham na kuryat. Not exactly. Shankara does not really make it very clear. So I would say it can be taken both description and instruction. So praharsham na kuryat. He would not. Ishtam labdva. And anishtam labdva na udvijet. Udvegam na kuryat. And Acharya Shankara makes a wonderful, insightful comment. Deha matra atmadarshina bhi priya prapti dirgha. Those who have Shankara Bhāshya in hands may wonder why is it dirgha. If you wonder, you have forgotten your basic Sanskrit. Matihi, feminine, is dual is mati. Matihi, mati, matayaha. Matim, mati, matihi. Matya, matibhyam, mativihi. That's the vibhakti. So, Shankara Bhāshya says, Priya Prapti, because there is Priya Prapti and Apriya Prapti. There are two. Priya Prapti, Harsha Vishadau, Dehamatratma Darshinam, Purvate. Purvate again is Dvivachana. Kurute, Kurvate, Purvate. Ashtamagana Dhatu. देहमात्रात्मदर्शिनां हि प्रिया प्रिय प्राप्ति हर्ष विषादौ कुर्वाते न केवल आत्मदर्शिनः. For heaven's sake, please be Atmadarshi. See yourself as the Atma. Then this Priya and Apriya will not generate in you Praharsha and Udvega, Harsha and Vishada. Tasya Priya Apriya Prapti Asambhava. If you are anchored in your true nature, first of all, what everybody regards as Priya is not Priya to you. what everybody regards as apriya, unpleasant, hurting, is not hurting to you. Kincha sarvabhuteshu ekaha samaha nirdosha atma iti stira nirvichikitsa buddhi yasya saha stira buddhi. How we seek this way of being, stira buddhi. How we wish to be so steady, and it's not as a result of taking some drug or some other, influence whereby we have become, unmoving. In those cases, you are not sensitive also. Somebody is hungry and you are not sensitive. Somebody is thirsty, you are not even. He is saying openly, I am so thirsty, stop your Vedanta discourse, give me a glass of water first. If you have stilled your mind by some other technique, not through wisdom, you won't listen to him. I will complete one more shloka, then I will give you water. Listen now. Insensitive behavior. When you and I fall into tamas or rajas, one of the hallmarks of our turning tamasic and rajasic is we are insensitive to others' needs. We are full of ourselves. We are full of our needs, our emotional needs, physical needs, financial needs, and so on. Sometimes I meet some so-called students of Vedanta. They say, we want to come and discuss something with you. As it happened last time in Chennai, some lady came and 1 hour she was with me. 50 minutes she spoke. And 3 or 4 times I asked, all right, but what is your question? No, in chapter 7 of Gita, Krishna says this. She gave a lecture. Again I asked, okay, but what is your question? But in 9th chapter he says this. Again she gave a lecture. Insensitive. Insensitive to what she had said on the phone. I want to come to you. It's so nice to have you in Chennai. Can I come and see you? I want to ask you some doubts. She did not ask any doubts. She gave a long lecture and I had to listen to it. And then in the 10 minutes, here and there, not at a stretch, 1 minute here, 1 minute there, I got opportunity to speak. I said a little bit, that's it. But I had to listen. So even among Vedanta students, there are some insensitive people. They come, saying we want to learn. And the way they talk appears as though they want to teach. So that goes away. Nirvichikitsa. Vichikitsa means doubt. Sammoha varjita, we've explained. No delusion, no confusion, no false values. Right? Yathokta Brahmavid, Brahmanistita, Akarmakrit, Sarva Karma Sannyasi. Bhagavan Shankaracharya is uncompromising when he talks about how true spiritual wisdom necessarily goes with sannyasa. You cannot say, I am enlightened, but I have 2 houses already. I just want to buy one more house by the beach with a view of the sea. Then onwards, I'm not going to take up anything. You are the best judge. Well, no one else can judge you so easily. Look into your heart. That one more house gets you closer to Brahman, and not being able to buy a house by the beach will make you shrink. Who are you? Yeah, Vedanta says I am Brahman, but for me, this one more house will give me a sense of fulfillment, completeness, and so on. Then your Brahma Vidya is shaky. Your Brahma Vidya is not at all okay. So Sarva Karma Sannyasi. But then, Swamis also go on building ashrams, you may say. You may give the example of Pujya Swami Shinmayanand. He built so many ashrams and acquired properties. Many Swamis do it. Therefore, I carefully say, don't judge them. If you go close to them, you would find that they are not interested even in one penny. It is God's will that operates through them, and they collect, they build, but they, even at a old age, they personally are ready to go back to a hut in Uttarakashi, a hut in Gangotri or somewhere, and live there. They are not attached. If you come close to them and see, you will know. Therefore, even though outwardly they are building a certain spiritual institution which has properties, etc., inwardly they have not moved away from a little hut which has a leaky roof and so on, where they did the study in Uttarkashi, maybe in Chinmayananji's case, with Swami Tapovan. That same simplicity is intact. Yap pashyati sa pashyati. If you see, you will know. Otherwise, from a distance, very easy to criticize, to find fault with even great masters like Chinmayananji. Sarva karma sannyasi. Commenting on the second shloka we saw so far, Bahyasparsheshu asaktatma, there is a paragraph, separate paragraph in the Shankara Bhāshya. Kincha, further, Brahmani sthitaha. Brahmani sthitaha is from the 20th verse, connecting it to 21st verse. Bahyasparsheshu. Bahyashate sparshasya bahyasparshaha. Karmadharaya samasa. The external contacts, not only contacts skin-wise, eye-wise, ear-wise, nose-wise, tongue-wise. That means the five Vishayas. Acharya Shankara explains, Sprishyante iti sparshaha, things that are touched. And by the expression touched, much more is meant. Things that are heard, things that are seen, things that are smelled, things that are tasted. शब्दादयः विषयाः तेषु बाह्यस्पर्शेषु असक्तः आत्मा अंतःकरणं यस्य सोऽयम् असक्तात्मा विषयेषु प्रीतिवर्जितः सन, being someone who has no more taste towards these sense objects. And that person vindati, labate, yat sukham atmani, in herself she finds such happiness. Somebody invites you, come, let's go to that movie. It is such fun, I tell you, you will enjoy. In olden days, you had gone to movies. You remember how it's, yes, it is fun, yeah. But thanks to the inner change that has come about in you, you smile and say, thank you. Please, all of you go. I am a little busy with some other work. And when they go, you pause. Should I have gone to that movie? I believe it's a wonderful movie. Thanks to the sadhana you have been doing, spontaneously, without effort, a certain thought arises in you. Really speaking, why should I go? I'm so happy. I'm so happy attending to some work at home, attending to some responsibilities, attending to some duties, and then in the spare time, I do either bhakti or jnana. I'm celebrating my life. I am rejoicing. Why do I have to go to this movie? Though the whole town is talking about that movie, do I need it at all? Atmani yat sukham labate. So such a person, Brahma Yoga Yuktatma, Brahmani Yogaha. Yogaha here means Samadhi. You and I develop the ability to bring our mind to dwell on Brahma. Within seconds, we are able to dwell, means connect with Brahma. Who am I? I am someone for whom external things no more mean anything. In fact, the earlier shloka had this Priya and Apriya. In Chandogya Upanishad, if you go to the last chapter, 8th chapter, go to the 12th section, Khanda. It begins with a famous shloka, and the shloka ends with this expression, Ashariram vavasantam na priya priye sprishataha. Priya and Apriya do not touch someone who is asharira, not literally without body. She also has a body, but she is not identified with the body. It's a famous line, much quoted elsewhere. Ashariram vavasantam na priya priye sprishataha. That's what Prajapati says to Indra. Let me read the whole. This 12th. Bhagavan martyam va idam shariram attam mrityuna tadasya amritasya asharirasya atmanaha adhishtanam attaha vai sashariraha. Those who are identified with the body are called sasharira. Priya priyabhyam attaha. Pleasant and unpleasant kidnap the person attached to the body. And sata sasarirasya sata priya priyayoho apahati. Apahati asti. That's description of people with body identification. So this is not Prajapati saying to Indra. Indra himself suspects that, and he says to Prajapati, and Prajapati is very happy. Yes, you are right, my student. You are right. The body cannot be Brahma. So whether it's coming from the student's mouth or the teacher's mouth, the matter is same. Then comes the line. Ashariram vavasantam na priya priye sprishataha. So at number of places we find Bhagavad Geetā echoing the Upanishadic teachings. So here coming to this 21st verse, Shankara's commentary. Brahmani yoga samadhi brahma yoga tena brahma yogena yuktaha samahitaha tasmin vyaprataha atma antakaranam yasya saha brahma yoga yuktatma. So Vedanta sadhana necessarily involves your antakarana getting more and more engaged in Atma Chintana. If either you who are listening to a talk or I who am giving the talk think that Vedanta is over with the class getting over, rest of the time let us discuss all matters of the world, politics and cinema and sports and travel and so on. No. If we are truly on the path, we will find that, I would once more say, in a natural way, a whole lot of talking, discussing, inquiring, saying, hearing, wanting to hear things of the world reduces. When required, very briefly, you may participate, otherwise, you withdraw. So, antakaranam vyapratam. But the word used in the shloka is Atma, which is masculine. Therefore, Atma Vyapritaha. Brahma yoge yasya Atma Vyapritaha. Brahma yoge yasya antakaranam Vyapritam. Sa Brahma yoga yuktatma. Sukham akshayam ashnute. Vyapnoti. He gets that immense happiness compared with which things of the world are peanuts. Tasmad bahya vishaya pritehe kshanikaya indriyani nivartayet. You and I as sadhaks have to withdraw our mind. Even if we have begun a topic, okay, no problem. But don't continue. Suddenly, because of some old vasanas, you begin to talk about Bjorn Borg, the great tennis player, and later on how apparently he went into financial hardships and so on. Or about who was that? There was some golf player. I'm glad I've forgotten his name. It's a good thing for people. But there was some great golf player who also, whose image got tarnished because of various issues. So we may start talking about it. Then we realize, I should not to go too long on this. So trim it quietly. Don't regret that you got into that topic. By regretting, what do you get? You got into a topic, sports or cinema or politics or something. Talked about it for 6 minutes. Don't go further. Wind it up and return to some adhyatma vichara. Nivartayet. That's how I would rather quote here. How when they asked Ramana Maharshi, how can we realize Atma? Atmajnane kaha upayaha? Atmajnanaya kim sadhanam? In one of the chapters of Ramana Gita, the discussion is about sadhana. What is the sadhana? The spiritual practice. Maharshi Ramana says, summary, Vishayebhyaha paravartya vritti sarva prayatnataha vimarshe kevalam tishtet achale nirupadhike. Withdraw your thoughts from matters of the world unless there is duty. If you strongly feel this is my duty, you have to. But a lot of things where we get into are not our duty, none of our business. Therefore, Ishayebhyaha paravartya. Shankara says nivartya. Nivartya, paravartya is all about withdrawing. Achale tishtet. Stay contemplating. Stay inquiring. Stay thinking about the pure self, which has no decrease, no increase. Na vardhate, na hrasam apnoti. Neither grows nor decays. There is a certain dimension in you, which is irrespective of your health or wealth or other things. The same. Stay in that. Reflect on that. If it's not clear, study a little. When you study, it will come. You get a certain view. Stay in that view. That is Vedanta sadhana. But none of this is working out someday. Jnana is difficult. Put aside. Pick up your japamala and Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Practice bhakti. Go from bhakti to jnana, jnana to bhakti. Then you will find that certain wonderful changes take place in you. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.